The 1950s were pivotal to the civil rights movement, setting the scene for the huge progress achieved during the 1960s. Brown v. Board of Education declared that racial segregation in public schools is unconstitutional. The murder of Emmett Till showed millions the brutality of racism around the world. And the Montgomery bus boycotts placed a young Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. in the national spotlight with his brand of nonviolent action. These struggles and contributions were hugely influential to the success of the civil rights movement. The Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, or SNCC, was a group that continued to fuel the momentum of the civil rights movement by energizing youth to join the struggle. In this episode of Movement, we'll examine SNCC and how they fueled the youth voice for change. Segregation under Jim Crow laws and often violent racism set the foundation for the conception of SNCC. Wide inequities were faced by Black Americans in school quality, voting access, and daily life. Young people wanted immediate change, not gradual reform. Economic inequality, racial violence, and a lack of political representation added to these frustrations for youth. On February 1, 1960, in Greensboro, North Carolina, 4 Black college students sat down at a whites-only lunch counter and refused to leave. News spread and other sit-ins followed. At the height of these sit-ins, civil rights veteran Ella Baker organized a gathering at Shaw University in Raleigh, North Carolina in April 1960. There, some 200 student delegates came together from sit-in centers around the South. The group resolved to form an independent coordinating committee to harness the energy of the student movement. From that meeting emerged the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, or SNCC. Unlike many older civil rights groups that were led by older leaders, SNCC was founded by and run by young people committed to direct nonviolent action. Some of the early leaders included students like John Lewis, Julian Bond, Diane Nash, and Stokely Carmichael. Their aim was to organize from the grassroots to stage sit-ins, challenge segregation, register Black voters, and to coordinate student action across the South. In exercising their commitment to nonviolent action, SNCC joined integrated bus rides to test desegregation laws. These Freedom Riders faced violent attacks and arrests in the Deep South, including the firebombing of a bus in Anniston, Alabama on May 14, 1960. In the summer of 1964, SNCC led a massive effort to register Black voters in Mississippi. Freedom schools were also developed to educate and organize citizens that summer. Serving some 2,500 students of all ages, the curriculum at the Freedom schools included reading, writing, math, and civics. Through their actions, SNCC helped empower local Black communities through grassroots organizing. The organization's efforts helped energize the nation's youth. Their effective actions and demonstrations contributed to the passage of the 1964 Civil Rights Act and the 1965 Voting Rights Act. SNCC still serves as a model for participatory democracy, youth-led activism, and has lent inspiration and practical guidance to later grassroots movements. Beginning in the mid and late 1960s, then SNCC Chairman Stokely Carmichael emphasized self-determination and racial pride, a sharp contrast to the organization's historic, diversity-centric approach. Through these changes, internal divisions emerged in SNCC, worsened by external pressure and surveillance from the U.S. government. Though membership waned in its later years, SNCC effectively demonstrated that power grows from grassroots action. The group also showed that youth leadership can redefine justice and democracy, serving as a major catalyst in the passage of some of the nation's most sweeping equality-centered pieces of legislation in history. Many former SNCC members continued their civil rights work. John Lewis served as a U.S. Congressman from Georgia. Julian Bond served 20 years in the Georgia General Assembly. Diane Nash was awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom in 2022, and many others in the SNCC movement continued their work in advocacy. Through their work and commitment, SNCC showed youth across generations that their voice matters. If you'd like to learn more about social movements and how they shape the world that we live in today, like this video and subscribe to the Aspirations Network channel.